Hey everyone, and welcome to a new series called Bargain Bin. As you know, when games don't sell well, they end up here. Heavily discounted and unwanted, they sit for months and sometimes even years. A lot of games are rubbish, but you can find a few good ones on occasion. Some of the games featured will be cheap because they're older, others just aren't very good. But just like how it is with B-movies, even the crappiest games usually have something interesting or funny about them. The game, or games, we are looking at today definitely fall under the category of crappy, though it has one redeeming quality which I'll talk about later. Don't worry, we'll be looking at some better games in future episodes, but today I want to talk about a bargain bin game from my childhood. This is an unlicensed Game Boy game by Sachen. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but having grown up where I have, that's how I've always said it. This collection of 4 games has the absolutely wonderful name of 4B-006. Rolls right off the tongue. I bet that's what Microsoft is going to call their next Xbox. Sachen was a Taiwanese company that put out unlicensed games for various consoles. They mostly released a bunch of low-budget games compiled together in one cartridge. This is very much a quantity over quality situation. This is the sort of game a parent would buy their kid because it has 4 games on it, and it's cheaper. Wow, what value. If you look at it, it's not even the same shape as a regular Game Boy cartridge. It's not as tall, and there's a protrusion to help you get a grip. Apparently it's wider too, since I remember my dad having to sand the sides down for the game to even fit in my Game Boy. The artwork is so cluttered and oversaturated, I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's just a collection of unidentifiable lines, shapes, and colors. Because it's not a licensed game, it doesn't even work with anything that isn't either an original Game Boy or a Game Boy Pocket. I wanted to use my Game Boy player to make it easier to see the gameplay, but it looks like this will be the best I can do. When you turn the Game Boy on, the Nintendo logo gets replaced by the company's own. I've never seen that before. The first game is Bomb Disposer. It's just a Dr. Mario clone, but a lot clunkier. No amount of boredom could ever make me play this game for more than a few minutes. I never liked it. The music is pretty atrocious too. Doesn't matter which song you pick. The aim here is to match up 4 of the same color and get rid of the bombs. Not exactly thrilling, especially if you can just play Dr. Mario. Next is A-Force, or Armor Force. Now, this is a little better. It's a side-scrolling space shooter. Not the most brilliant thing ever. It's a bit slow-paced and the controls just don't feel very responsive either, but it has great music. Any one of these could make an awesome metal track. I usually played it just to listen to the songs. A-Force follows a very traditional formula. Each stage has you trying to evade and shoot enemies. You get a couple of power-ups here and there, and fight the boss at the end. Some of the enemies do look strange. Like, what is that? A space flower? And it's farting sticks of butter at me. That's rude. It's all a bit average, but still, I could think of worse games to play, like Bomb Disposer, or the next 2 games. The third game is Second Space. What happened to First Space? The menu is a bit weird. Slow for beginner. Fast, crazy runner. But why does it say select mode on the bottom? The point of this game is to fill in all the lines around the rectangles, which uncovers part of the picture. The annoying thing is that the enemies chasing you can just ignore the pathways and shoot at you. That's not very fair. You can kill them if a picture flips over just as they're over it, but they respawn, and with how the levels are designed, it's really easy to get cornered with no way out. So Second Space is like Pac-Man, except the ghost can just go through the walls, shoot at you, and there's less space to move around in. And what makes it even worse is that the controls are so finicky. It's difficult sometimes to get around a corner because you hit the button a pixel too late. And the music is pretty bad on this one. This game has no redeeming qualities, I have to say. The last game is Black Forest Tale, and it's not great either, as you might imagine. You play as this girl, who looks more like an old woman trying to hit people with a spoon, turn enemies to stone by hitting them with said spoon, and kick them. When they hit a wall, they drop a coin. You take the coins to the store to buy items. You want the key so you can unlock the door to clear the stage, and that's basically it. I usually just played the slot machine so I wouldn't have to go around tediously killing enemies. Black Forest Tale does have one redeeming quality, and again, it's the music. The title screen is pretty good, but the song that stands out the most is the level selection menu. I think it's really good, and whenever people talk about great 8-bit music, this is almost always the first song that comes to my mind. And that's it. Definitely not a great collection of games, but unlicensed games are always interesting. I just wanted to share a little piece of my childhood with you, and while there really isn't much of a reason to play these mediocre games, in the 90s as a kid, this was still better than doing nothing on an 8-hour plane flight. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, even if the games were terrible. You can find me on Patreon if you want to support me, and I'm also on Twitter, so you can check that out. And hopefully I'll see you again in the next video.